Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back at the Siddhi channel. And today, the topic that I'm going to take with us is going to be anxiety. Why anxiety? Well, I've had about a couple of hundred calls in the last 5 months talking about this subject because people are anxious because of the lockdown, because of so many things that they're happening in their life. So I thought it would be a good time to take this topic. What is anxiety? That is what we need to know. What is anxiety? Anxiety is this feeling of feeling nervous, feeling unease, feeling worry about outcomes in the future. There will be outcomes in the future, and we are anxious about what's going to happen. That is anxiety. How do we deal with anxiety is something that we need to know, and that is what the Vedas will tell us. How to deal with anxiety is simple. As long as you are capable of handling the outcome, you can face that outcome, then there is no anxiety. If we are incapable of facing the outcome that comes in the future, then of course we have anxiety. What we have to understand as human beings, there are not too many things that can happen to you. There are only four possibilities in this life. My teacher used to give an example which has become my stock example, and I'm going to take that to explain what are the four possibilities that can happen to you as the result of the outcome that you're going to get from the actions that you do. So he used to say, let's assume a man is coming down from the building and he is going to stop at the bus stop, and the office bus is going to come and it'll take him 30 minutes to reach home. So on day one, he comes down from the building, he stops at the bus stop, the bus comes within 5 minutes, and in 30 minutes, he's home. On day one, we say possibility is equal to expectation. He reached the bus stop, the bus came in 5 minutes, and he was home in 30 minutes. Day two also, he comes down. Day two, when he comes down, he's standing at the bus stop, but the bus is 20 minutes late. Today, he reaches home after 20 minutes compared to the first day. Today, his expectation was what? Less than expectation. He is late in reaching home. The third day also, he comes down from the building. He is waiting for the bus to come. Before that bus comes, his friend comes in a car, opens the door and says, jump in. I'm going via your home. I'll drop you off and go ahead. Our friend gets into the car and he's back home in 10 minutes. That's what? More than expectation. It is faster than he expected to be home, more than expectation. On the fourth day, also, he comes down from the building. He's walking towards the bus stop, misses the banana peel, slips, bangs his head, and what? Voila, he lands up in hospital. Not a good place to be, but after 4 hours, when he gets up, he says, hey, where am I? And he's in the hospital, which is what? Opposite to expectation. He expected to be home. He's not at home. He's in a hospital. In this life, in this life, there can only be four possibilities as the outcome of the actions you do on anything. Examine this statement. Only four possibilities: equal to your expectation, less than your expectation, more than your expectation, and in very few cases, opposite to your expectation. What is happening in the 5 months since the coronavirus has hit us? This whole humanity is facing a situation which is what? Opposite to expectation. And because we were unprepared to deal with it, that is why we are anxious. That is why we are anxious. We were unprepared to deal with it. To deal with anything, the Vedas give various types of general solutions and they give a lot of specific solutions. What are the general solutions? The Vedas would have also told you, please listen to the science. Your job is to listen to the science, listen to the doctors. If you want to face this world, you want to go out, go to the school, go to the jobs, do whatever you need to, go to the park for a walk or a jog. You can't be home all the time. You need to do what science tells you. You need to wash your hands. You need to put your mask on. You need to have social distancing. If you do all of those things, then you will not be as anxious had you not listened to science. That is a general solution the Vedas would have also talked about. But the Vedas don't talk about general solutions only, they talk about a lot of specific solutions. So, I will give you an example in which we will have two types of capacities. My current capacity, your current capacity, as also my capacity to build, which is building capacity, and your capacity is to build, your building capacity. All human beings have got a current capacity and they have got a potential building capacity. The current capacity that you have, let's take in the sense of your physical health. If you're a physically healthy person, and many of us who are physically healthy are sitting in a room, we then encounter a person who has, let's say, a disease which is a communicable disease and which is contagious. Let's take the example of tuberculosis. If a person diagnosed with an open case of tuberculosis, open case means a person who can pass on, he's contagious, and if he was to cough or sneeze, then tuberculosis is in the room. And if 10 of us were sitting in that room, all of us would not be infected. Only 10%. 90% of us will not be infected. Why? Because our current capacity, that is me, the subject, is very strong, and the object, which was the disease, came in, but my inner strength was capable of fighting it. So, if you have your current capacity as strong physically, then even if diseases come to you, you're able to fight them off. In fact, that's also what's happening in the case of the corona. 80% of us are able to be in our homes. We don't have to go to hospitals, and the disease is self-limiting. Our body is able to fight it. Second example that I'd like to take is our building capacity. Let's say my current capacity in the case of my physical fitness is capable of lifting, let's say, 25 kilos. Okay, that's my current capacity. Can I build it? Of course, I can build it. Suppose if I give myself a target of 50 kilos to be able to lift over my head in the coming months and a year, can I do it? Of course, I can. So I will work upon my capacity from 25 kilos, make it 26 kilos, put the weights, keep on practicing, and after a couple of weeks, I'll see that I'm able to do 26 kilos. Similarly, as I go along and build this capacity, it can become 30 kilos, 40 kilos, and eventually I will be able to, with a lot of happiness, be able to lift the 50 kilos. So I have been able to build my capacity from 25 kilos capacity to lift to 50 kilos. So we have a current capacity and we have got a building capacity. This capacity was taken in the case of the physical fitness. That means your inner physical fitness, as also in the case of muscles. Now, our physical capacity is also the same as far as the mental game goes. Mental strength is now being taken into account. Anxiousness is a factor of mental strength, which means lack of mental strength. From childhood, if you would examine yourself, you also had external factors and you have been the way you are. In childhood, you were fearful of your exams, you were fearful of peer pressure, you were fearful of the teachers, of the principal, of so many factors that feared you. As you grew, can you say that fear went away? No, the fear just shifted. It shifted from exams to your colleagues, to your boss, to the income, to the lack of income, to your mother-in-law and your father-in-law. All these situations, in-laws became outlaws. That is unfortunate, but that's the way it is. It became a problem. Now, if you were strong, the Vedas advise us, if you were strong, that means you, the subject, were strong, then you would have been able to deal with all of these things. But right now, you don't find yourself strong. But the Vedas tell us, as you were able to build your strength physically, so you can build your strength mentally. How do we do that? The method forward is very simple, that you have to understand that you are the problem. You, that means I am the problem. And the Vedas tell us that you are the solution. You are the problem and you are the solution. When you accept that you are the problem, that means you have limitations right now, and you have limitations against these four possibilities. Do you actually have against the four possibilities? No. When things are good, better, best, that means you get more than expectations, you're always very happy. You don't have to do anything at all. You're not anxious. When you're getting equal to what you expected, and on those days also, you're okay with it. You're not extremely happy, but you're okay that what you got was equal to expectation. But let's assess when you get something less than expectation and very rarely opposite to expectation. What happens? Your mental strength is not there. Your mental strength being weak, that means the subject you being weak, and the objects, that means the world having become in a lockdown situation, the situation you're not able to handle. That causes you stress and strain and anxiety. So the Vedas tell you the way forward is to identify that I am the problem, and then to tell yourself that you are the solution. You are the problem, you are the solution. Once you have been able to identify that, then your job is to work upon those situations which are less than expectation and those situations which are opposite to expectations. And when you work upon those two, as the years go by, and the techniques of these I will share with you, we are going to be mentally strong. Then anxiety is not going to be a problem. So the way to beat anxiety is to accept that I am the problem, and then also to tell yourself, I am the solution, and I will be able to accept what equal to, less than, more than, and opposite to equally. If I can do that, there is no anxiety in my life. We will learn what has to be learned. Take care. Cheers. God bless you. Have a great time. Keep safe.